Hi everyone, it's Michael Citron with the Parkland Parrot Real Estate team at Remax Park Creek, coming to you from another one of our live hashtag Ask Michael Mondays. This is episode 14. I'm so excited. We have Rick Elobre with Prestige Inspections. We use Rick for many of our inspections for our buyers and sometimes our sellers and new construction buyers. So I'm really excited to have Rick here, but first want to just say congratulations to my Philadelphia Eagles. Really excited to have a great game last night. Really passionate Eagle fan and waited 39 years to see the Eagles win a Super Bowl. So really great day today. Nothing could go wrong to make it a bad day. So happy to have Rick here. Wanted to introduce Rick and have him first give us a little background information on yourself. How many years you've been in the inspection business, how many inspections you've done. Just give us a little bit of a background on yourself and your inspection service.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. Appreciate it. I'm honored.
Thank you.
I've been doing inspections for, I would say, close to 20 years now. Before this, I was involved with some construction in owning an alarm company in Weston. So I was on site during a lot of the construction process. Before that, I was actually a math teacher. So I've had a few businesses, and this one really was right up my alley, dealing with people every day, getting outside, getting inside, meeting buyers, having relationships with realtors. It's great business.
And how many inspections do you think you've done in the course of your
I would
career?
say 20,000 is pretty
Wow.
close. If you average it at 4 a day, 6 days a week, comes out to about 1,000 a year in 20 years. Give or take 20,000 inspections.
That's
Boy,
great.
that flew by quick.
A lot of them with us, I hope. Questions that we have been receiving from buyers, particularly people as of late. I've been getting a lot of people, particularly cash buyers, that are asking, why is it important to even have inspection done, professional home inspection done? A lot of people maybe be in the business of home remodeling, or maybe they're a roofer or something in the business, and they feel they could do it themselves. What would you say is the most important reason that they should hire a professional home inspection company like yourself to go out to a property?
Well, you want to avoid that costly mistake or something that you can't see. It's one of the most important investments that you'll make, and you want to know everything that's wrong, which is hidden, and sometimes it's obvious, but how far does it go and how much will it be to fix it? And we will have the professionals there with the experience to hopefully find every problem and let you know what it is that it's going to take to fix this.
It's great. You mentioned the experts. Explain the dynamics of the home inspection and what will be covered when you and your team go out to the inspection. I think a lot of people as of late who maybe bought a home or sold a home many, many years ago, the inspection process has changed. So I think they think one guy's going out there and that's it. And explain the dynamics of your particular team going out, those experts going out to the property, and what they do when they get there.
Well, just to say, when I first started, I did the inspection myself. I'd be out on the property for a good 3 hours. It's very difficult to see everything. I mean, it's just a lot to take in. So what I did was expand it to bring a licensed roofer onto the property. And basically his goal is the roof and the attic, the fascia, checking out to see if any leaks. And myself, I'm there, or one of my team members, and everybody I have is at least 10 years experience. And we're checking out the structure, the mechanical elements, the sprinklers, the AC, looking for mold, looking for termites. I also go up in the attic and I'm testing the outlets, and one guy's testing the windows and taking the panel apart, and he's looking with his flashlight, as is the roofer and myself. So you got 3 eyes, sets of eyes there, looking for water intrusion, which is very important, mold, termites, any structural damage. And then of course we're looking at the mechanical, testing the AC and appliances and so on. So we're trying to cover everything and have 3 guys actually looking at it.
Yeah, the more the merrier when it comes to inspections. Are you fully bonded and insured?
Yes, I'm licensed, insured, and fully bonded.
It's great. I have that question with sellers when who's getting on their roof, and it's really important. God forbid somebody slips and falls. You want to make sure that the inspector who's coming out there has that license. So it's great. I think people ask sometimes with the as-is contracts in this real estate business, we're so accustomed to these as-is contracts. So I think when buyers are purchasing a property, they don't really understand when a buyer or when a seller lists their house as is, what are the main components of a home that a buyer should be concerned with, particularly with an as-is contract or not. What are the major items? And you pointed out earlier, but if you had to look at the top 3 or 4 things that you're inspecting a house that the buyer should be most concerned with, what would those be?
Well, certainly the most expensive is the roof. So that's definitely something you have to look at. Termites, which in South Florida is a big problem. Mold, every house has mold somewhere. It's just a matter of finding it, and others have it, sometimes it's pretty bad, especially in some of the attics on some of these homes, which people in Parkland and different areas see that they've had problems with those. That's very important. And then from there, your AC, your pool heater, these are, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 items, which you're going to want to know what's wrong.
Question, should the buyer be present? Should the realtor, if they're working with a realtor, should the buyer and realtor be present during the home inspection as well?
I would say at least some point. The realtor, it's nice to have the realtor there, so if I have any questions, I can ask the realtor, or they can call the listing agent or the seller and find out some things. The buyer should be there at least for the end when we go over the report, so I can go over with them what's wrong and find out if they have any specific questions or how something works. How much is something to replace it? What's the age, life expectancy of a product? But it is important for that buyer to be there, because when I send them the reports, I certainly do get questions, and they're asking me, oh, what about this, what about that? And sometimes the pictures just doesn't give the full story.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes we have a closing and the buyer does the walkthrough. They came to the inspection maybe, or maybe they didn't, and then they're asking how things work, or then they start asking, oh, this house was inspected. Here are the items that were fixed. Now, really, how were they fixed to par? Sometimes we'll have Rick come out and do the pre-inspection right before closing. The second inspection to kind of verify that things have been fixed properly. If we have to agree on a credit or most likely a repair, it's good to know that you have somebody that can come back and make sure the stuff was done properly and fixed. But definitely buyers needing to learn more about the components of the proper sprinkler system, how the pool works. Maybe the seller has a unique feature, technological upgrade they put together and might not know how to work it. So it's good to have that. So we're not sitting at the walkthrough and not able to turn on the power or the AC or the pool heater or the sprinkler system. So I always recommend that the buyer should come to the inspection as well as ourselves or a team member. So if we see anything, we can jump in. We're immediately able to address a concern, and then you're right there at the best moment, not later in the process when you're not in front of the home and not in front of that actual item of interest that needs to be looked at. So that's I really would like our buyers to come. Do you provide a written estimate for all items in need of repair or replacement in your inspection reports?
Our inspection report is pretty thorough. The summary page will give you a list of every item that we found to be defective. It will give you a list, and it'll say that it's a cosmetic issue, just to mention it to you. But mechanical, I'll try to give you a ballpark figure of what it might cost to repair, let's say, an AC or a roof leak, mold, termites, appliances, leaks, water intrusion. It doesn't have it on everyone because some of them require further evaluation. It'll say that on a report, further evaluation by a licensed contractor. But in most cases, you'll see that my report will give you an idea of what you're looking at.
Yeah, we like it too because, with these inspection periods, they could be 7 days or maybe 5 days even on some of them. It's important that we get you out fast. Rick comes out very quickly to our inspections, and he's very thorough and he's very, very involved and is able to get us this report back, because if there are issues, just because an inspection period's 5 days, it takes you a day or so to get out there, and then you get the report back, so you really don't have much time to really analyze it. So we could certainly ask for an extension of that time, but we really look at that report, and those estimates are meaningful. I'm not an expert in everything, and neither is the buyer or the seller, so it's important that we get that estimate range, so to speak, and able to figure out how we move forward if we can. And I think a lot of inspectors that don't give that, it really makes it problematic for the buyer because they're unsure. They might be a red flag totally, and they'll be scared. So I like how Rick's able to calm a client down and show them right there when they do come to the inspection or after with a phone call, to really show them the process that's needed to get the house to the standards that that a buyer should be purchasing it as is condition or not. So we definitely appreciate that. What type of report format do you use, and how quickly can a buyer expect to receive the report back after the inspection?
If I do the inspection today, it's a 24-hour turnaround time. And on Fridays, of course, the next business day would be Monday. You will get a approximately 20-page report, of course, a separate roof report of what's wrong, how much to fix it. A termite report from me. I am licensed for termites. I will indicate if there is mold, and I can do testing on the spot. But it is the next day, usually 24-hour turn, and it goes to the buyer, of course, to the buyer's agent, and if permission, to the listing agent.
Perfect. What is a wind mitigation report, and why should a buyer have one done when buying a home?
Wind mitigation is usually, these days, just about everyone does a wind mitigation. The purpose of it is to let the insurance company know, is this house, in case of a hurricane, how will it stand up? What sort of roof? How is it attached? The nail spacing? Do you have shutters? Is the garage door protected? It's about a series of 8 questions, and each one of them is checked off by wind mitigation, which I bring a guy that is his job, is wind mitigation. Once he's finished with that, he will help me with other things, but he is there to try to save the person some money, which could amount to thousands of dollars. In not all cases do you save money. If it's an older roof, or there's no shutters, or you don't have the proper straps in the attic, you will not save a lot, but most people in this area are saving a couple thousand.
It's great. I always tell them to get the wind mitigation so they can use that for their insurance. They can shop insurance with it. They want that. It's required. Insurance companies want so much more now, and it's really good to be able to provide them so they can save as much money as possible. Should a seller get a pre-inspection done before listing the home? I go out and list a house. It could be in Coral Springs or Parkland, wherever, and sometimes I like to see if the home's older, and I see that there could be some issues, an older roof, older AC units, maybe some older electrical wiring in the house. I always recommend to them to get a pre-inspection done, but I wanted to know your feelings. Do you think it's worth it, and if so, when before or after should they get the home inspected is important?
I would say like you said, in any older homes, 5 years or older, it's a pretty good idea. 20 years, definitely, because you want when the buyer to come in with his realtor, the realtor and the inspector. If the roof is fixed, if the mold has been remediated, if the electric panel has been changed, that's very important. It makes it go smoother rather than this guy listing 2 pages worth of things that need to be repaired. They start to get nervous. So it's just a smoother transition if you know the major things and you take care of them before the buyer comes in.
I agree. If you get something done before the problem, it can be a little problem and become a major problem because the buyer could really get scared, and the inspector could be very critical, and certainly they should be. So it's important to assume the worst and hope for the best. Let's use that.
That's pretty important about because there are some inspectors that are a little tougher than others, and they do scare some people, and a simple thing could blow up.
That's right. We don't want a deal to be blown for something small, and something small could turn into big unless you get it fixed. Now, with new construction, we live in Parkland. We sell a lot in Parkland, and there's much building going on. And we always try to recommend to have a home inspection done, pre-inspection, when selling a house, but also when you're purchasing new construction. The builder offers warranties, and they feel that they don't need to get an inspection done. We have recommended to do that. And do you feel they should, or do they not need one?
I've done quite a few of them, and I would say that every time I've done them, the people were glad they did it, because I found stuff that they could not see, even the builder didn't see. And a lot of times what will happen is the builder will send someone to walk with us, and we'll put tape on the cosmetic issues. We'll, take a peek in the attic, and we'll see, well, they didn't put enough insulation over here, or they didn't add a GFI here. A lot of little things that we find, and sometimes major things.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I don't think I've had anybody who, for the $350 or whatever it is you're going to spend, said, wow, shouldn't have did that.
I agree. I think it's important. It's, and again, your largest financial asset. You assume that it's going to be fine, just like when you get a new car. Sometimes there's issues when you get a brand new car. So it can happen with any property, new or older. You mentioned your fees. How much does a standard an inspection cost? So a person who's watching this can understand how much does it cost today for a thorough home inspection? Well,
the inspection with, let's talk about a home, and let's say 2,500 square feet. You got your roofer, you got myself out there, and you got includes the termite, it includes the mold inspection already in there, because I'm licensed. So I don't have to bring in a guy for termite. I don't have to bring in a guy for mold. So let's say the standard inspection with a windstorm inspection, you're probably looking at about 400. And any give or take, depending on if you have a pool and how old the house is. Certain houses that are in the 60s and 70s are going to be a little more, because there's more problems to look for. Well, great questions that we have from the last one. I think that you should, would be great to answer for our viewers. Why should a buyer or a realtor referring you to a buyer call Prestige Inspections instead of another inspector? You've mentioned a lot of things in this questions that we were asking you, but I really, when somebody thinks of a home inspection company, why should they call you? Well, there are a lot of them out there. Just like realtors, there's a lot of home inspectors, there's a lot of mortgage brokers. I would say, first of all, experience at this point, doing 20,000, learning, making my mistakes, correcting them, proving myself and my company. I do have 2 people in my office, always answering the phones. You'll find even on a weekend I'll answer. After 5, after 6 o'clock we even answer, and we return your call. So you're getting service, you're getting reliability, you're getting expertise, and you'll find that I know how to deal with people, which is very important. Not necessarily that you're the best inspector in the world, but you calm people down. The idea is to get this thing sold and be honest and upfront with what's wrong. And you find that with everybody calm, it usually goes pretty good.
Yeah, we've had great success. People, as you say, some people can get nervous. So they're buying a house. It's a nervous process. It's good to have somebody that's accessible. If you have to call the office, I got your wife on the phone. I got Mimi on the phone. Sometimes we need your attention immediately to diffuse a situation, or maybe we need to kill the deal, and we need to do that. So we need to really rely on. And I always ask Rick, would you buy this house when we're there at the inspection? And I think the buyers feel comfortable knowing that a person doing 20,000 plus home inspections, if they say they would buy it, if they were looking to purchase this or for a family member, that's the kind of comfort and that I would want to have if I was buying it. So understand, we're always providing value here at the Citron Real Estate Group. If you're looking to buy, if you're looking for information on how to do get a home inspection done on a property, realtors out there that see us, we love using Rick. A lot of you use Rick who are in our area, but give him a chance. He's a really great guy. He's very accessible, and he does a thorough job. So I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you guys watching here on Monday after the Super Bowl. So I hope everybody has a great evening. If you have any questions, we'll put Rick's information and contact below so you can see his website, see samples of his inspection reports. Whatever you need, we'll be happy to direct you to Rick. And I hope you guys have a great night with your family. Take care.